the man who ended a republic. Rome was not supposed to fall to one man. For centuries, the Roman Republic stood as the most powerful state in the ancient world, ruled not by kings, but by laws, senators, and tradition. Yet from its chaos emerged a single figure, a politician, a general, a conqueror, a man whose ambition would reshape history forever. His name was Caesar, and before he became dictator of Rome, before betrayal in the Senate, before the Ides of March, he was simply a young aristocrat born into a dying republic. The Republic in crisis. In the 1st century BC, Rome ruled the Mediterranean world. Its armies had crushed rivals from Spain to Greece. Wealth flooded into the capital. Temples rose higher. Generals became legends. But beneath the glory, the Republic was rotting. The rich grew richer. The poor grew desperate. Political violence became normal. Senators fought for power while ordinary Romans struggled to survive. The Republic was no longer stable. It was becoming a battlefield. And into this world, Julius Caesar was born. A young Caesar. Julius Caesar was born in 100 BC into the Julian family, an ancient aristocratic bloodline that claimed descent from the goddess Venus herself. But despite the prestigious name, Caesar's family was not especially powerful. He grew up during an age of civil war. Roman politics had split into two factions, the conservatives of the Senate and populist leaders who sought support from the masses. Caesar aligned himself with the populists. It was a dangerous choice. When the dictator Lucius Cornelius Sulla seized Rome, Caesar became a target. Sulla ordered him to divorce his wife, whose family supported Sulla's enemies. Caesar refused. The young nobleman was forced into hiding, hunted by the state itself. Legend says Sulla warned his allies, "In this Caesar there are many Mariuses," a prophecy that Rome would never forget. The making of a legend. As a young man, Caesar sought glory wherever he could find it. He studied rhetoric, served in the military, and gained fame for his charisma and courage. Then came the pirates. Captured while sailing across the Aegean Sea, Caesar was held for ransom. But instead of fear, he mocked his captors. He reportedly joked with them, demanded they raise his ransom amount because he was worth more, and promised that once freed, he would return and crucify them. They laughed. Caesar did not. After his release, he assembled a fleet, hunted the pirates down, and executed them exactly as promised. Even then, Rome was witnessing something extraordinary, a man of ruthless determination and limitless ambition. The first triumvirate, Rome's political system, rewarded alliances, and Caesar understood power better than most. To rise, he formed an unofficial alliance with two of the most influential men in Rome, the wealthy magnate Marcus Licinius Crassus and the legendary general Pompey. Together they became known as the First Triumvirate. It was not a legal institution, it was something far more dangerous. Three powerful men dividing Rome among themselves. With their backing, Caesar secured one of the most important military commands in the Republic, Gaul, modern-day France, and there, Caesar would become unstoppable. The Gallic Wars. For nearly a decade, Caesar waged war across Gaul. He fought tribal confederations, Germanic invasions, and massive uprisings. His campaigns were brutal. Entire cities were destroyed. Hundreds of thousands died. But victory after victory transformed Caesar into a living legend. He crossed rivers engineers said were impossible, built bridges in days, invaded Britain itself, a land most Romans considered beyond the edge of the world. And through it all, Caesar carefully crafted his own image. He wrote detailed accounts of his campaigns, portraying himself not only as a conqueror, but as Rome's saviour. The Senate watched nervously, because every victory gave Caesar something more dangerous than gold. Loyalty. His soldiers adored him, and now Rome feared him. Crossing the Rubicon. By 49 BC, Rome stood on the edge of collapse. The Senate, influenced by Pompey, ordered Caesar to surrender his army and return to Rome alone. To obey meant political destruction. To refuse meant treason. Caesar chose war. Standing before the small river known as the Rubicon, he made the decision that would change history forever. The die is cast. With that, Caesar crossed into Italy with his army. No Roman general was permitted to enter Italy under arms. The Republic had been violated. Civil war had begun. Caesar versus Pompey. Pompey fled Rome and gathered forces across the eastern Mediterranean. What followed was one of the greatest civil wars of the ancient world. Caesar moved with astonishing speed. City after city surrendered. Then, in Greece, the two armies met at the Battle of Pharsalus. Though outnumbered, Caesar crushed Pompey's forces completely. Pompey escaped Egypt, but there he was betrayed and murdered before Caesar could arrive. When Caesar was presented with Pompey's severed head, he reportedly wept. Rome's greatest rivalry was over, but Caesar's rise was only beginning. The dictator of Rome, victorious in civil war, Caesar returned to Rome as the most powerful man alive. He declared reforms across the Republic. He reorganized debt, expanded citizenship, reformed the calendar, creating the foundation of the modern calendar still used today. But many feared what he was becoming. Statues of Caesar appeared beside those of kings. He was named dictator, then dictator for 10 years, then dictator for life. To some Romans, Caesar was saving the Republic. To others, he was destroying it. The Ides of March. A group of senators believed Caesar's power threatened the very future of Rome. Among them was one of his closest allies, Marcus Junius Brutus. On March 15th, 44 BC, the Ides of March, Caesar entered the Senate. The conspirators surrounded him. Then they struck. Blade after blade pierced the dictator. 23 wounds. The most powerful man in Rome collapsed beneath the statue of Pompey. The assassins believed they had saved the Republic. Instead, they doomed it. The man who changed history. Julius Caesar did not live to become emperor, but after his death Rome descended into more civil wars, and from that chaos emerged his adopted heir, Augustus. The Roman Republic was gone. The Roman Empire had begun. Caesar's name itself became a title of supreme power. Kaiser, Tsar, Caesar. More than 2,000 years later, his story still endures, not simply because he conquered nations, but because he transformed the course of civilization itself. One man, one ambition, one republic brought to its knees. If you enjoyed this documentary, please like and subscribe for more histories of empires, wars, and legendary rulers from antiquity and the medieval period. Because history is never truly dead. It is only waiting to be remembered.